Hi friends, and welcome to the Shits and Gigs podcast, where we keep the vibe high, the humor gets raunchy, and things get spicy when we talk about food. This is your host Meg Davis, and we are here for a special episode of Bombz tonight, where I drop some knowledge on some random topics that came up for me this week to see if you guys can maybe relate while I'm quite literally in my bathtub relaxing. However, I'll be completely honest, I am on my couch right now because the last couple weeks have been straight up crazy, and I just have not been able to squeeze in that bath time like I would have desired. And I just got out of my rhythm with records, so we're chilling on the couch, nice and quiet before the family gets up to connect with all of you guys today. And what I'm going to connect with you guys about is just reflecting back on simpler times. I know we've been chatting about like tuning into your inner child and how that can benefit your mood and life, but we were just on the topic the other day. I honestly forgot how it came up, but about flip phones. Who remembers their flip phone era? If you're, I don't know, if you were born, I think just like in the 90s in general, you should have experienced the flip phone era, and it's so sad that these kids will not go through that humble beginning of having technology. My first flip phone was the Virgin Mobile Kyocera Oyster, and I was surprised that when we were trying to find our phones, I was like, it kind of looked like a pearl or like a shell, and to then find it and have it be called an oyster, I thought I was really impressed. My brain was really helping me out there. And it's just interesting to see, we're just so technology forward nowadays, and back then we were just really still very open to creativity and imagination. I remember I used to ride my bikes everywhere, and maybe life was also a little more safe, or just the creepy stuff was unknown. So parents felt better about giving some kids space and letting them ride their bikes everywhere. And we had walkie-talkies. I lived right down the road from a park, so we would use walkie-talkies to connect with my parents, because that was a luxury that we had. We could just do that instead of investing in cell phones and things of that nature. But we would go to the park, and we had like this fort in the woods. I just feel like kids wouldn't even dream to do something like that nowadays. All they care about is the TV screen. So one of the things that Josh and I have tried to be really adamant about is limiting that screen time. Obviously, if you're a parent, you understand you just need to lean on that shit sometimes, because you're trying to get some stuff done, and it entertains them for that 30 minutes or whatever you need it for. But yeah, it's just interesting. And so to get my first phone, it was a top tier privilege, because my mama was not paying for that. So I took it upon myself to start a dog walking business, which I often look back on, and especially being an entrepreneur, like 100% nowadays, I just, sometimes there's validation for me that I feel like I'm just an entrepreneur at heart, and I'm just built to be my own boss and not be like in a corporate setting, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I started a dog walking business with my neighbor. We had quite a few clients for being, I don't know, maybe 12 or 13. I don't remember how old I was when I got my first phone. I believe it was middle school though. And we had a chocolate lab named Bosco, and he was just so like big and dopey, and he had this parrot in the house who was so funny. He would say things like, Bosco, you want some spaghetti? Or he would just like ask the dog why he looked sad. It was very humorous. And then we walked these two little teacup Yorkies named Emmy Lou and Cookie. No word of a lie, Cookie. And they would always be dressed up in these cute little outfits, and it was adorable. My mom loved those two dogs. And I feel like we had one more. I feel like we had at least 5 dogs, but those are the 2 that stand out to me the most for whatever reason. Maybe they were my most loyal customers. So yeah, entrepreneur at heart. Comment entrepreneur and what your business focus is if you are an entrepreneur, also whether it be part-time or full-time. I'd love to hear what you're excited about right now. Moving on to, it's very random this week for this bath bombs, but all very equally entertaining. I discovered a new catchphrase, where my ranch people at. So we are big ranch people in this house. We do not go healthy when it comes to ranch. We are straight up Ken's ranch people. My husband will have it no other way. And I'm surprised it took me this long to come up with this phrase, but I was debating what dipping sauce I wanted, and out of the blue I just said, I'm feeling ranchy, and I think it is hilarious. So if you are also a ranch lover, feel free to use that catchphrase, feeling ranchy. I think it's very entertaining and fun. And I also learned a few new vocabulary words this week. If you know me, you are aware that I blurt out things that my close circle calls megisms. Essentially, I just fuck up phrases all the time. So vocabulary and phrases are not always my strengths. However, I will say when I smoke weed, I feel like I gain access to more vocabulary and my mind is a little less scattered. So I don't know. I think it enhances my brain in that way. So just a little side note, but the new word I learned about this week is egress. My husband blurted out this word, and I just didn't believe it was actually a word. It just sounds weird. I was like, where do you use this word? What does it mean? And fun fact, if you also are fumbling over the word egress, it means the action of going out of or leaving a place. And I was like, okay, love the definition, but how would you use that awkward word in a sentence to mean you're leaving a place? And he informed me. So my husband is he's a technician for a company called Integrated Security in Massachusetts, and they install cameras, key card access. He is extra special and also knows how to do the keying side of things. So he said in their line of work, it's really helpful in hospitals and places of that nature where maybe a patient tries to escape for whatever reason, or maybe also in like the prisons and things of that nature. There's a delayed egress door that they can install, or maybe it's the handle, I don't know. It's attached to the door if it's not the door itself. And they can install one with a delayed egress option. So this is helpful if, say like in the mental ward, if someone's trying to escape, they go to try and open the door and it's delayed egress, so then it will not unlock. It'll set an alarm so that people are triggered that someone is trying to escape, and then it will not unlock for 15 seconds. So that was actually very interesting to learn about, and that's a super helpful option. So egress is your new fun word for the week. Maybe I'll try and do a vocabulary word every once in a while. And yeah, that's all I got. I was just reminiscing about simple times this week and having fun with vocab, I guess. So let's wrap this episode up with a summer fun wellness mocktail. If you want to make this at home, you can comment Snowcone. That's our tea for the week, and I'll make sure I send you over pricing. Or if you want to just test it out and come visit for some good vibes, you can come try it out at Elevated Nutrition, 34 Nooseneck Hill Road, West Greenwich. I am there Mondays and Wednesdays and alternating Saturdays. I also pop in on Tuesday mornings with the little man to help out Jess during the morning rush. So feel free to swing by and say hello anytime, but you'll definitely want to grab this tea because it is one of our, I would say probably top 5. So Snowcone tea. You're going to want a pomegranate liftoff. The liftoffs are 75 milligrams of caffeine, all ginseng based. They're also boosted in the B vitamins and biotin, which are huge micronutrients that are super beneficial for your body. So pomegranate liftoff, and then the half a teaspoon of the raspberry lemonade drink mix. Those are vitamin C boosted. 1 scoop of the strawberry lemonade collagen. Mandarin aloe, it's recommended 2 to 3 capfuls. I just dumped that shit in because I love it so much. And then we top it off with blue raspberry. It's a fun blue and purple drink, super refreshing, and literally tastes just like a snow cone. Shout out to our girl Britt. She is what we nominated most dedicated unofficial official employee. She has been a regular for a while. First off, shout out to Britt. She's doing amazing on her fitness journey right now. She's crushing it with penciling in the time for herself to work out. But also, I'm really proud of her for shifting her eating habits, because that was a huge barrier for her. She would work out like crazy, but the eating habits were just not aligned, so she wasn't seeing those results that she wanted, and she's been crushing it. So shout out to Britt rather, sorry. We also get those two confused because they're also kind of similar in some ways, so it's really funny. It's a fun dynamic. You gotta come hang out to experience that. But shout out to Britt for coming up with the Snowcone tea, because it is definitely a top hit at the club. I'll repeat the ingredients one more time. Pomegranate liftoff, raspberry lemonade drink mix, collagen, mandarin aloe, and blue raspberry. Come in and sip on that and catch all the good vibes at Elevated. Thanks for tuning in. Toodles.